Howdy, everybody. Welcome to Caribou Weather Dude YouTube channel. I'm Joey Only. Welcome to the show. Okay, yeah. Well, yesterday's thunderstorm forecast was a bit of a bust. Yeah. There's not too many times I admit that. In fact, those of you who've been following me for 10 years on Interior Weather and Wilderness Watchers on Facebook know that there's not too often I'm wrong. However, I did say in my forecast video, I did show the Environment Canada's thunderstorm risk map and show that northern BC could experience thunderstorms as well, even though I was kind of betting on the south. Turns out the south was dead. North went active. I think the smoke cover that was happening in British Columbia prevented the sun rays from hitting the ground, prevented the ground from warming up, prevented thunderstorm formation, more or less, right? So that's what happens sometimes. Sometimes you make a bust forecast, not because the conditions weren't there, but because things just didn't line up when the time came, and that's okay. However, so we finally have a picture of what's going on this week, man, and it's bad news. There it is. This is bad news. My God.
Falling out right now.
Anything could happen. Get on! Wow. I'll watch the video later. They dry up in this. Actually, it's not really bad news. I mean, we knew that upper level low was kind of forming down there. We knew a cold front was going to pass through. It didn't come through with the rain and precipitation that maybe we thought when we look back. Say we go back a week and kind of look at the forecast and be like, well, what would you think was going to happen? There was a lot of uncertainty, right? So we found ourselves in the north side of the jet stream right now, and what that's doing is it's keeping things very cold all of a sudden. So things are very cool. It's good because maybe we'll get a little bit of a break from some of this wildfire smoke if the activity in the fires will be a little bit suppressed by the temperature. This is going to stay kind of nice this week. I mean, except for maybe southeastern BC. It's going to stay kind of nice this week, but it's going to be into the weekend. I expect to see something different happening. Okay, let's talk about our sponsor for today. So, my sponsor today, Butterfly Effect Communications. They're doing this thing called Footage Fridays for people in Kamloops, Thompson, Nicola, and the Caribou. Introducing Footage Fridays. They have video and audio equipment, and they want to get more practice by capturing video, photos, and audio for you. Every Friday at 1 p.m., they will release their limited deals for the week, exclusively for subscribers of their newsletter, LinkedIn, and YouTube channel members. You receive what they capture. Subscribe now for access and watch for limited time specials, including the Caribou. That's at butterflyeffectcommunications.ca. You can look down the comments for more on that as well. It's Monday, September 9th, and the only thunderstorm risk in the province today happens to be down that sort of corner by Cranbrook, maybe a little bit of Golden, perhaps over to Nelson, the Kootenays a little bit. Could see gusts of wind, could see 10 to 20 on the millimeter scale for precipitation, but I'm not predicting anything that interesting to be happening here. So you want to know what's going on here. You may have noticed that the camera angles are a little different right now. That's because my selfie stick that I usually put my camera on, I left it in Theo's truck when he rescued me last week out in the Caribou River. Maybe they're going to come out here and mountaineer this week. So if you're seeing this, Theo, I'm planning to go out on Wednesday because we got a bit of a window of good weather right now, right? At least it's cool. That's great for mountaineering, though, and for hiking, right? So I'm going to go scope out this very crazy hike that I have in mind. I'm going to see how far I can get. I don't know if I'll make it to summit or not, but I've been doing some mapping and looking, and I think I can do it. Sitting on the north side of the jet stream here. There we go. Jet stream there diving down south there. Sending some stormy weather in the United States, but BC mostly staying kind of clear until we get to the weekend. Whatever's going on, European climate model, weather forecast seems to think that we may have stormy conditions approaching into the BC interior by Saturday. GFS seems a little bit more hesitant on that, but look, bam, by next week, GFS is, there's not a big disagreement here. There's going to be a big pattern change. It's going to be the end of summer's coming, okay? The end of fire season's coming. We got a good week here of pretty nice weather, but it's going to cool off and it's going to get rainy and precipitous, and there could even be snow in mountains and places in the north and stuff like that, right? So we got time to enjoy it. Get out and do whatever you want to do in the wilderness while you can. Still right now in BC, we got air quality advisories going on. So a large segment of the province basically getting some of this bad smoke that's going on from our Utsa Lake Fire, Tweedsmuir fires. What's going on over in Alberta? Air quality advisories, air quality advisory up north, air quality advisory, special air quality statement into Saskatchewan. Air quality here too. What about there? Air quality down in Ontario. We're looking at frost advisory. So they are going to be very happy when some of that warm weather starts to show up to their doorstep. Alberta breaking heavy temperature records yesterday as well. Camrose seeing 31, Edmonton up to 30.6. Again, been just nudging past old records, not really exploding past them. Lloydminster tied, so that's an example. Lac La Ronge 30.9, old records 30.5. Newfoundland Labrador, maximum temperature records. New high in Placentia Bay 23.6. There you go. And who else? Oh, Nunavut's got something else going on. Old record of 8.1. There you go. Daily maximum record. Very hot up there. 8.1 degrees. What a record. Quebec. Wow. Okay. 67 millimeters of rain fell there in Temiskaming. 75 in Varennes Wildlife Refuge. Pontiac 78.4 mils. Who else is pretty big? Mont Laurier 78.2. Parent 96. Chibougamau 72. 80.6 in Matagami. 50 in Gaspé, pretty big. Saskatchewan also seeing some rather temperature records broken. Some hotter ones though, 34.8 in Elbow, hitting 35 degrees in some parts of Saskatchewan. Last Mountain Lake at 35 as well. 35 in Moose Jaw. There's a fucking helicopter flying around right now, making all kinds of noise. I'm trying to record a video here. Helicopter, don't you have any respect? Okay, look at this. This is the wildfiresmoke.ca map. Okay, I'm done yelling. I don't know why I was yelling still. A little bit of smoke still in southern and central interior British Columbia. Well, let's have a look at where they think that's going to happen. Big plume came through yesterday and just smoked the place out, man. I went to Quesnel and I was like, ooh. And that had me nervous because I want to go on a mountain hike this week. But what's the point of going on a mountain hike if you can't see anything from the top of the mountains once you get up there, right? Of course. So sitting smoky in parts of BC, southern BC, sitting smoky. A lot of that smoke coming up from Washington State, Saskatchewan. Some of your smoke is getting driven up towards the north because warm weather is still pushing in there. A little bit of smoke even in northern Ontario going on, air quality. That's probably got more to do with pollution and things like that. The cool thing is we look at our fire over at Tweedsmuir and a little less active yesterday despite some of the big smoke put out, right? So a little less active, and with the cooling weather, I expect to see it a little less active still yet. In fact, in BC, not a whole lot of wildfire activity going on. So that's good news. Some spots picking up, even here in Wells. We got that fire that's like 35 kilometers east of town there. You might have seen it in my video last week. It went out there. It was putting out a little bit of smoke. I think it's got some increased activity. I know that they've been out. Northwest Territory, still a lot of activity up there, right? So pretty busy fire season for them. Record breaking, I'm sure. Saskatchewan still putting out a lot of smoke right now too. So that's some of the most active fires that are going on in Western Canada. I mean, we have the big guy Tweedsmuir has been putting out a lot of imagery and show and smoke. But however, when you look at Saskatchewan, you look at the number of fires burning and how much of them are showing activity. You realize Saskatchewan is the leader right now in wildfire. It's the leader. Congrats, Sask, on leading the pack. Well, the good news is wildfire season is going to start wrapping up pretty soon, right? Like I think we got a week here where there's still going to be quite a bit of activity in Western Canada, but I think as we get into the next week, we're going to start seeing that tail off fast. We're going to see the temperatures drop fast. We're going to see precipitation come into places. We're going to see fire season start to take a beating down, I think, pretty soon here, right? So, I mean, that's the time of year you expect it, usually sometime in mid-September. There are years, yes, where it burns into October, and especially increasingly so. But I mean, look at the fire danger right now. We're seeing improvements from last week, right? Seeing improvements even in our bad boy area. Improvements northeast still looking. We did see just a minute ago on Firms a little bit of activity up there. Still, Alberta and Saskatchewan they're the main places right now where the fire danger seems to be the highest. Especially risk of grass fires there. Where you go up north into the boreal forest, there is things burning like crazy up there in Saskatchewan. We just looked at that. So as you know, you look at the drought code and wow, Canada's been droughty. I mean, we've not had a good go of it. So we look at our drought code and everything put together, and you get the build-up index, and you say, wow, well, southern central British Columbia is still pretty able to burn this week. Same within the Tweedsmuir area. I mean, although we're not sitting too bad this week, all in all, this is temperature anomalies. This is like, are the temperatures above seasonal or below seasonal values, like the averages we expect? Big cool down starts there with that upper level low forming down in the United States. Look at that. Very cool. So we're sitting kind of on the north side of the jet stream there, as you can see. Extremely above average. Winnipeg and Saskatchewan, you're looking at getting some extreme heat there, okay? So it's going to be very, very hot. Ontario going to warm up. BC having a nice week, but that nice week doesn't last long. It lasts a week. because look what's going to happen now. Now we're going to see the pattern change that we're expecting start to manifest itself up as upper level dynamics take over, and we start to see the east or the west coast of the continent cooling off fast. So this is what we're looking forward to next week. We may rebound a little bit from that still yet. When we do, we're looking at a bit of a change next week, right? We've already had a change now from way above seasonal to just about seasonal, right? Maybe a little bit cooler even this morning. I mean, what's it sitting at my temperature? 8.8 Celsius, right? So this is pretty cold for this time of morning already, considering, like this last week, how very freaking warm it was, right? So we've had a change. It's not the change. I really didn't know how this was going to manifest, but we're here now. We got through it, and it's Monday. I have a pretty good picture of what's going to happen again. We're kind of back on track, right? So really not much precipitation this week. Southeast, maybe a little. Alaska Panhandle, maybe. It's not until we get into Friday, Saturday. ECMWF seems to think that we have precipitation moving into BC. But we look at our temperatures this week, still nice. I mean, 17s and 20s, those are nice September days. I'm not complaining. I'm not saying, I'm not saying that we shouldn't be in some ways appreciative of having such nice, sunny, warmish days. Unfortunately, for people over in Saskatchewan and Winnipeg, they're going to be seeing some extreme heat this week, right? So getting into Thursday, looking at still 36s there. Wednesday, a little less so. So it seems to be Thursday that heat really shows up in force into Manitoba. And we're going to watch BC take this cool down as the weather change happens, right? Happen into Sunday, start to see those daily highs getting lower and lower, right? And this is kind of what we're looking at for next week, right? So this is still on GFS modeling, which we kind of more or less just looked at on the other map as well. But bam, looking at next Tuesday, down to 8. ECMWF's got a little bit warmer. So, we don't really know exactly yet how next week's going to play out. But we have a pretty good picture that it's going to manifest some sort of a change in the weather at some point next week, as this bomb up here is trying to squeeze its way in and make for a story. Well, out in the prairies, that heat and that low pressure should erupt some fantastic thunderstorms. So hoping for you for the thunderstorms this week. What about on Tuesday? A little risk of thunderstorms in southeastern BC on Tuesday. Some isolated storms possible in Manitoba as well on Tuesday. We're kind of looking at that. Eventually, something's going to form here, and it's going to make it for a bit of a show. So hang on to your hats this week. Southern BC, maybe a couple rounds, maybe a little bit of lightning. But after the no-show that we just had this week, I'm skeptical now. That low pressure system really pulls itself together on Wednesday down there in the States. It's really sitting low below us like we saw on the jet stream map there, right? So this is going to be the big thunderstorm maker for the prairies this week when this moves through. But even then, this counterclockwise motion, it's going to be bringing cooler air still yet down to BC. So look for a cool down coming this week. Enjoy the nice weather while you have it. That's kind of been my messaging for a little while now, but here we are 10 days in. And that's about what I said, going back into August. I said, we got about 10 days probably of above seasonal weather. That seems to be what manifested. And now maybe get a few more days of... we got lucky. We didn't take the transition right on the chin. Instead, we were sitting on the north side of it. So some of the weather was much worse for those of us south of us and whatnot. But that's more or less the lookout for the next week. So if you got plans, get on them, because we really don't know after this next big pattern change how much really nice weather we have left in BC. I mean, we just don't know that, right? So there's a good chance that at some point we're going to keep diving into more and more fall-like weather, and you can really feel it in the air this morning. There's a frosty cold smell in the air in Wells. So I want to thank everybody who's patrons. Go to patreon.com/interior weather watchers or become a member of the channel here. I don't give much back for it. I mean, I give my free forecasts away for free to everybody, right? So I mean, whether or not you throw a dollar in or not, you're still going to get the same product. I get it. On the Patreon channel, I sometimes put extra videos up. Yeah, it's true. But all in all, I get it. It's not a great deal, but it's needed to help keep me forecast. Just a dollar a month. I mean, hey, how many weather apps do you have that you pay into that don't do as much for you as I'm doing? And the apps don't work as hard as I work. That's for sure. You're paying for something that just exists and works like a machine. Okay. Thanks, Butterfly Effect Communications.ca for the sponsorship. Really appreciate that. Appreciate everyone's support. Appreciate all the good words. People say a lot of good words, and it's like, really, you're all I got. It's like my kids and you guys. That's my life, really. Like fire season's over. I'm not with the boys no more. Uh, all I got's talking weather, right? And I don't have girlfriends. I don't have friends I hang out with all the time. I don't drink anymore, so I don't get invited to social events much, and I mostly just sit here and do my thing, right? So it's a huge mental health thing for me to talk about weather to you guys. Like, you probably don't understand that I have a sense of purpose and feel good. But even then, it costs money to run this little empire I got going, and it costs money to live. So feel free to support me as much as you can. I would appreciate that any way you can. Okay, you can hit like, share, and subscribe. That's the way to do it for free. Okay, that's all for today. Bye now.